If the even pages of your high school geometry textbook had opened fire on the odd and engaged in page-ripping warfare, the shredded mathematical remnants would have probably looked a lot like this. This is Geometry Wars Galaxies for the Nintendo Wii, a game that resurrects some of high school's most vivid memories, math class in the arcade. As modern gaming franchises go, Geometry Wars has humble origins. It actually first appeared as a minigame in the 2003 Xbox game Project Gotham Racing 2. An evolved version emerged 2 years later as a launch title for Xbox 360's Live Arcade in Geometry Wars Retro Evolved, a smash hit that elevated the series to the status of a cult classic ready for more ambitious undertakings. And that's where Bizarre Creations, Kuju Entertainment, and Geometry Wars Galaxies enter the polyhedron. Released to the Wii and DS in 2007, Galaxies is the first fully realized Geometry Wars console experience, but given its simple premise, you'd be justified to question whether there's enough to the series to make that work. How do you stretch Geometry Wars from a minigame to a downloadable game to a retail release that cost $39.99 when it hit store shelves 3 years ago? Well, you do it by cranking the awesome to 11, and that's exactly what Geometry Wars Galaxies does. If you've never played Geometry Wars, think of it as the modern evolution of arcade classics like Space Duel and Asteroids, with some Robotron thrown in for good measure. You control a small, claw-shaped ship through the grids of space, and shoot down a never-ending and steadily increasing onslaught of enemy fighters. Your ammunition is unlimited, and depending on your skill, so is the duration of each level. You play until you run out of ships, going for the highest score possible. The catch is that everything in Geometry Wars, from the enemies to the grids themselves, is comprised entirely of simple geometric shapes. And although the Wii lacks the high-definition visual punch of the Xbox 360, Geometry Wars has lost just a minimal amount of its simplistic beauty in the move to Nintendo's console. From its vibrant colors to the radiant glow of its enemies to the dramatic displays of its hypnotic, multicolored particle explosions, Galaxies is visually intoxicating and makes you wonder why they invented polygons in the first place. More importantly though, Galaxies is just impossible to put down. The great American prophet John Travolta once spoke of chills that were multiplying and electrifying. Fun fact, he was talking about Geometry Wars Galaxies. The biggest changes Galaxies makes to Geometry Wars' core gameplay are the additions of drones and geoms. The drones are little helper ships that follow you around the grid and assist your shape-blasting efforts with their unique abilities. One circles around you to defend against approaching enemies, another shoots in the opposite direction you are to cover your back, and so on. But you won't be able to use and upgrade your drones without first saving up geoms, which are probably the most important addition in Galaxies. Enemies now drop small yellow shapes when they explode, and these geoms must be collected if you want to unlock new levels and upgrade your drones. Each one adds to your points multiplier as well, making for potentially enormous scores and, of course, an insatiable hunger for geoms. You'll find yourself making risky maneuvers into escalating enemy groups you otherwise wouldn't, just to collect those quickly fading geoms the last group left behind. As if the core Geometry Wars gameplay wasn't already addictive enough, the addition of geoms makes it even more so. Even after a few close calls, you'll still take those risks, constantly reassuring yourself you'll make it out alive with geoms in tow. Along with the drones, this adds depth to the Geometry Wars gameplay formula, and quite frankly, it makes past versions feel thin without it. But don't take it from me, you can see for yourself. because Galaxies includes the entire Retro Evolved game too, as well as online leaderboards and wireless connectivity with the DS version. Just make sure you play the game with the Wii's classic controller if you have it, because the standard point-to-aim Wii Remote and Nunchuck pairing is a bit cumbersome, especially when the action gets really intense. Geometry Wars is a strikingly simple concept, but it's incredibly addictive and perfectly realized in Galaxies. It's been tweaked just right, and Wii owners who love video games at their purest would be foolish to let this one slip by without at least a rental. You'll see just what's so special about Geometry Wars Galaxies.